Welcome lads, Elden Ring, are you sick of it yet? I can't get enough, I'm like a crack addict, can't get enough of my open world RPG, can't get enough of little goblins gobbling around, you know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? This time, we got Beeg Bunga here, and we have very specific goals in mind with this guy. I've been loving the Convergence mod. It adds an incredible amount of content involving the magic system in Elden Ring, so what I've decided to do this time around is completely ignore all that and play through the game as a very strong boy. You just gotta remember to harass the local wildlife while you're out and about. So before we get started with the run properly, we are running around the lands between the standardly done things. Some of the things are specific to the Convergence mod, such as picking up this remnant to craft it into a golden scarab for a very nice increase in soul gain. If you're wondering where this is, it is just southeast of the Merchant Kale. I'm say you would normally revisit the tutorial to obtain an item that is out of reach when first seen. Okay, so you want to not upgrade, but change the affinity of your weapon of choice to something that deals percentage damage, such as Bleed or Godslayer, which has the Black Flame effect. And after crafting and equipping the Gold Scarab Talisman, we are set to go to town on a dragon for an extended period of time. While you go nuts on the dragon, you might find yourself asking, what could this creature possibly be dragon? That is worth so many runes. And Michael Zaki has gone on record stating that he did not want it revealed as it would give away too much of the plot for the coming DLC. Now with your billion souls, I'm going to put V-word up to 30, endurance to 20 for a little bit of stamina and equip load, and dump all the remainder into strength because we must not forget we are strong boys here today. Next, we are off to the Murkwater Catacombs. This place can be found just northeast of where you find the first map of the game, jumping down a cliff with several horizontal tombstones, which I must most certainly only died a few times trying to scale. Anyway, after sorting out all the flasks and making sure we have absolutely no blue ones, the reason we came to Murkwater Catacombs is to grave rob, but in order to rob this guy's grave, we first have to put him into said grave. And since he's a very early game boss, that should not be too difficult. Now, you might be thinking, what are the benefits of doing a strength build with a large weapon? And the most obvious conclusion is, make big damage number go up, which is a very nice perk of the weapon category. The other less obvious benefit is the poison damage that they inflict. So, the way staggering an enemy works is they have a bar that goes up the more you hit them, and it decays over time just like poison or bleed or any status effect. But the payoff of filling this bar is the enemy will be put in a staggered state that you can then critically hit them in. And the heavier and slower the weapon is, the more it fills up per attack. The reward for defeating the Grave Warden Duelist is our weapon for the run, the Battle Hammer. Essentially having only a strength requirement to wield, it is perfect for our strong boy. It comes standard with Braggart's Roar, which boosts attack and defense slightly, but also changes the moveset of its heavy attacks. However, we won't use that Ash of War until a bit later, instead opting for the only one we've picked up so far, Sacred Blade. And I know it's not as cool, but it does allow us to change the hammer to a heavy affinity, and in the end that makes the number go up, and I think we can all agree that that's the good one. Well, now that it's upgraded to a huge +2, let's take it across all of Limegrave, yeah? And while we work our way through all these dirty boys, I reckon I'll weave for you guys a bit of a yarn, a bit of a tale, if you will, of when I first played my first Soulsborne game, which was Dark Souls 1. The year was 2012, back in the before time, and I had not a care in the world. I decided to get a funny game on Steam. Might have been on sale, don't remember, can't recall. Anyway, I boot up the game. I choose Knight because he had the biggest armor, and biggest armor means better at game. And I was off, got through the tutorial, easy enough, read every single one of those little red messages, took them as gospel. I drop attack the Asylum Demon, easy, and trade hits with him until he dies, you know, 1 for 1, you know, got the armor to match him, so no worries there. As soon as I got out of the undead asylum, I encountered the Crestfallen Warrior. You remember this guy, full chainmail, sitting on his stoop? I decided that, you know, let's chat a boy up, see what this guy's got to say. He tells me about the 2 bells, says 1 up above, 1 down below, don't whiz-waz, actually I don't think you're gonna do jack shit, you stinky boy. And you know what, I was having none of his sass. So, like any other video game, whenever I have none of the stats of the NPC, I give him a little swing, a little wang. But that doesn't do anything, right? I've never like swung and like the blade would just go right through the NPC. That's what happens in Zelda. That's what happens in Jak and Daxter. And that's basically all my video game knowledge up to that point. So I had no idea he was actually going to take damage. So I swing, I see a health bar. I'm like, oh shit, he took damage. He gets up, and he gets upset about the whole situation, and he proceeds to kick my ass for 20 minutes, respawn after respawn. And I just could not get past this guy. I cannot fathom the concept of outrolling. I'm fat rolling the entire time, so it's not looking too good. I'm sure he parried me once or twice even, and I was just completely crestfallen. I was done. This game too hard. Fun bits, but we must depart Limegrave, and in order to do so, Thick Thighs himself, Margit the Fellowman, has to go down. Let's take him down. And I'm coming to you guys ringside. In one corner we gotta have a ton of fun. 15'8" of pure self-hating omen juice, Margit the Fellowman. And in the other corner we got hailing from parts unknown, 100-pound soaking wet Beeg Bunga. That hammer of his is looking pretty mean, and he's got him in a counter hit right now. That is absolutely devastating damage. When did he get that shine on that hammer? That is absolutely silly. That doesn't look like it's pure strength. No way. Margit the Fellowman has pulled out a hammer of his own. What is he going to do with that? Where is he going to stick it? He's swinging that hammer around, but he has not landed a single hit. Oh, he catches him with his sword cane. Now, you know, the sword cane is one of the most deadliest of weapons, illegal in most states that I've invented. He's coming in with a sneaky, underhanded dagger from an underside throw, getting him. He is really putting Beeg Bunga on the ropes right now. What is this fucking showboating from Beeg Bunga himself? He doesn't care about the hammer. He's gonna show him who the real hammer bro is. You can call him Mario and or Luigi himself. He's gonna put down the hurt on this guy, it looks like. Oh, unless he's getting the hurt put down on himself right now. But that's it for them. He is down for the count. That's Margit the Fellowman down. Beeg Bunga is clearly the victor here. Now that it's after a climatic boss encounter, you can use the many golden seeds and sacred tears that you've collected along the way, along with crafting any funny remnants into talismans. Also, don't forget to use your physic flask. It's pretty cool. I give it 6 out of 5 stars. What I put in mine is take less damage juice and deal more damage juice, giving it a nice pulpy flavor. Once all the bookkeeping is done, old king of the castle himself, Godrick, is next, and I would say he's a bit full of himself, but he is filled with so many other people I think it would be inaccurate. Either way, let's dethrone this lord. Once again, I'm here ringside. We have a new contender challenging Beeg Bunga for the title today, weighing in as the current year in pounds and measuring a staggering 15 feet in any direction. We got the Lord of Stormy Weather himself, Godrick the Grafton. He's conjuring up a little tornado for us right now. That tornado is essentially a guaranteed hit no matter what you do about it, unless you actually roll out of the way of it. But how is that to be asked by any mortal man? Why would anyone want to run away from a tornado? Margit is clearly used to using all those grafted body parts to roll around at the speed of sound, like his favorite hedgehog protagonist from his favorite video game, Mario Super Sunshine 4, I believe, was the one of the current year. Here he attempted to do a ground slam, but he has been put in a counter animation by the relentless assault of Beeg Bunga, doing those heavy, fully charged attacks, dealing massive poise damage. One of the most poise damage of any attacks is the fully charged heavy that he's got going there. Godrick is just trying to get a hold of him, and he has succeeded. He is beating the shit out of Beeg Bunga right now. He has to back off, and oh, is that an illegal healing flask? Godrick was not giving any of these, so outside use of them, we could just not tell the authorities and allow Beeg Bunga to use these healing flasks in the middle of the fight. They seem very non-standard. Wow, it seems like Godrick is just not bothered by it. The sheer discrepancy in the sizes of these two combatants is a bit silly. What is happening now? It looks like Beeg Bunga has forced Godrick's hand. ladies and gentlemen, this is very non-standard behavior by any combatant. He seems to have taken the corpse of a dragon and grafted it onto his arm in the middle of the fight. What an absolute mad lad. This has not dissuaded Beeg Bunga in the slightest. If anything, he has now redoubled his efforts and is really just kicking the shit out of— oh shit, spoke too soon. Godrick Grafted now has him in some kind of sleeper hold, and by sleep I mean he's putting him into the long sleep with this one. Oh, somehow he stood up after that. Pounding he just received into the ground from a fiery dragon breath attack. Point blank. He's just going at him now, just rolling through, ducking and diving under his attacks, but can he do it? I doubt it. No, wait, Beeg Bunga. He's rolling around, giving him the run around, fully charging a heavy attack, fully charging a second— nope, he's not, he's getting his ass kicked again. Godrick just bashing the ground in some kind of effort to create some distance between him and Beeg Bunga. It's a true David and Goliath story, but I really can't tell who's who. Honestly, I think Godrick might be the David in this situation, meaning that he has a ranged weapon and he's fighting a guy with a hammer. That was what that story was about. That was a story about the improvement of technology and how we can outmatch any large boy. Well, this looks like it might be close to the end here. Beeg Bunga seems to be having him on the ropes. There's sweat. I think he's got a swollen eye even. He's down for the count. Beeg Bunga's going for the pin. Oh, instead of the pin, he just hits him with the hammer in the chest. And I think he's dead. Beeg Bunga has done it. He's taken the title, and now he's saying he's off to Liurnia of the Lakes. And by that, I mean a quickfire boss trivia. He's like Prometheus. This guy's a wizard. What the dog doing? This guy smells terrible. Counts as a construct. Owns over 206 bones. After talking to this dude, the next time you go to the Round Table Hold, you will get invaded. Also, this mod gives you 50k souls. I mean, runes as a treat. It's just straight up Capra Demon. That's a Silent Demon. For popular game Dark Souls 1. In the hit film Platform, the protagonist picks snails as his food of choice. What's the dog doing in an Everjail? Michael Zaki never reveals what this guy is dragging. Every morning this guy breaks his leg, and every afternoon he breaks his arms. Bowls is a giant wizard whose name is Balls. He lost his horse. This boss isn't real, it's a Holy Order drone. Who the fuck is this guy? This boss is from a Family Guy spin-off show. Now here, this is a tragedy. This guy is from Dark Souls 3, and in that game, no one is allowed any toys. So he just can't do anything. The right thing to do is to put the old boy down.
What would you do if there was a child right in front of you?
And here we can see why the Beeg Bunga strength build is miles superior to even the most powerful of wizards, being as the wizard cannot conjure their spells if they are actively being bludgeoned with a brick of steel. What an absolutely silly country that Liurnia was truly the Pokemon Sapphire of fictional Western RPG regions. Well, I don't feel like going up an elevator, so instead I'm gonna go kill this absolute epitome of dragging dragon, and then proceed to go murder all the bosses I can find atop a plateau. The altars. Wait, there are how many bosses on this plateau? 24? And you want me to make random info for all of them? They make perfume. out of the jar dudes. Very uncool. There's 18 misbegotten warriors throughout the game. Did you find them all? The only boss in the Extra Life wiki with the strategy guy talks more about his skull snail than anything he does. This is just footage of splashing about. There's no boss. She's the queen of goblins, also very equine. This guy was able to flip 2 coins in each hand and catch them simultaneously. This guy's lost his horse. Hey, it's Capra Demon. This is the result of 1 GMO. Actual advice, Meteor Beast is way easier on Torrent. I swear I've seen these two somewhere before. Even you're a guy with a Santa hat. I remember this gargoyle having a boss health bar. Margit, what are you doing here? This guy's about to lose his horse. Oh god, get him out of here. It's too sad to watch. All Black Knife assassins are Noxtellan females. This guy reminds me of Squidward. Deathblade is the best status effect Michael Zaki has ever made. Crystallans are known to shatter if yelled at too aggressively. Sanguine means optimistic or positive, especially in bad or difficult situations. There are 16 total Crucible Knights in the game. Why didn't this guy drop another Battle Hammer? Who the fuck is this guy? It is actually illegal to not assault any Godskin person you see. There are such a stupid amount of bosses on the Altus Plateau, I was not aware. Well, no need to fret anymore. We battle hammered them all into early retirement. Now, all of you have stuck around this far into the video. I'd like to say thanks. And as a little treat, I'm going to show you my super quick and easy route through the streets of the capital. Because when I first played Elden Ring, I was lost here for days. So just follow along with me and neither of us will get too spooked. Yeah? Okay, so up to this point, you don't have to do too much of choice making. You're just going in a straight line. But right here, we're going to be coming up to our first fork in the road, if you will. And you want to take the lower of the 2 paths here. Then you want to make a right. You go down the elevator. You can also just jump. The elevator isn't that difficult. You can kill this guy if you want. You go up the ladder. That's the most important part. And now out this window here, you want to jump to this yellow building here, jump across, and then you want to jump over here, kill the perfumer, and right there you'll see this big wagon. If you land on the wagon, that means you're going the right way. Here is the next Site of Grace. Now, from here, the Lindale Royal Capital Site of Grace right here in the little avenue wing wang. We are going to sprint dead across. I like killing this guy, or else he'll shoot you while you're heading up the gargoyle steps and stones. Here you want to go up and around, and this looks like a gizzard, but I'm pretty sure it's the wing, and you want to go up that. You pick up the rune arc, you go up the little ladder. Straight ahead, up the stairs, you're gonna kill this guy for a little meme if you want. You don't really have to, you can just sneak by. This guy will try to get you though. There's one more Site of Grace right here on the left. You're gonna touch that, and then right here, if you look to your right, you'll see a little drop down. You wanna drop down here, you can pick that up, and then up this route. The route takes you up the route here, and that'll take you to the next funny boss that we have going for us, which is Ghost Godfrey, if this wasn't a modded Elden Ring thing. Now I like killing all these because I am not too confident fighting on a very precarious position, so I like getting rid of them and not having to like sprint past them, if that makes sense. And yeah, here we go, the next guy. Sigurd Knight's Captain. I'm gonna take this time and have a little chat with you, viewer, about how hard this guy goes. He combines the moveset of Ghost Godfrey, Grave Warden Duelist, and the homing projectiles that some Omen enemies do. I think the mod makers really outdid themselves here, not only providing a very challenging guy in armor, but having him fit in the world as well. What do I mean by this? Well, Sigurd, Knight's Captain, is captain of the Knight Cavalry. He left his horse with park and brake on just outside the boss arena after defeating him. You can go find that out. Now, the Knights Cavalry in the base game were a group founded by Morgott, so it would make sense that he would have, like, lieutenant for this force. And since Morgott is really against using the powers of his Omen curse, that stuff that makes him have horns and a tail and all that stuff, it makes sense that he would bestow those values onto his lieutenant. Which is why this guy, Sigurd, only starts doing his Omen homing bolts and his other Omen explosion powers on his second phase, when you've really shown you're a threat to his life. As far as his looks go, old Sigurd, Knight's Captain, is straight out of edgy 14-year-old school of design, which is exactly what I want to be able to overcome in these games. The horns and the protrusions coming out of his helmet and shoulders reinforce this idea that he is Omen cursed, just like Morgott. And it might make you think that Morgott might have promoted him based on that alone, but after fighting Sigurd, Knight Captain, a few times, you'll see that it's not the case, and this guy can lay down the hurt pretty thoroughly on anyone, even without his tapping into his Omen juice. Well, that's him dead. Let's go kill the boss.
Fighter Rykard. Lunar Princess Rani. Willful traitors, all. Thy kind are all of a piece. Pillagers, emboldened by the flame of ambition. Have it written on my meager grave. Fell by King Morgott, last of all kings.
We are right here ringside once again in the rematch of the century. Who could have possibly guessed Margit the Fell Omen was just a disguise and this guy was actually Morgott, last king of Lanedell Royal Capital. Wait, I'm getting word right now. Actually, every single person in the lands, we can figure that one out. Absolutely powerful stuff here. Well, this fight is already proving quite the spectacle. Morgott seems to be just inventing new moves on the fly. Oh, Beeg Bunga's in trouble now, but after eating some of Estus, he is right back in there trading blow for blow. Not something I'd recommend doing with someone 14 weight classes above you. Look here, a left, then a right. Oh no, what's happening to Morgott? It looks like his lumbago is acting up. He's getting it all over the arena. This place will need to be quarantined for at least 45 minutes after the events we are witnessing here today. I'm sure all of you at home do not want to start a surge of lumbago in your local area. What is this, one? No, two fully charged heavy attacks from Beeg Bunga? That is not looking good for the Omen King, but Morgott is not dissuaded by any of it. He is jumping and flipping around despite any concern for his lumbago. He's got Beeg Bunga in a hole. Devastating. Beeg Bunga cannot get a hit in edgewise. What's this? A jump attack from behind puts him to sleep. The Omen King, aka Morgott, aka Margit, aka Huge Jim is down and out. We have a champ here. Beeg Bunga takes the title. He's our reigning champ once again. Alright, after defeating Margit, let's go back to base, upgrade our hammer, and we actually haven't come back here since we talked to that one dude, remember? So we have to clear out this trash before proceeding. He actually drops great armor if you're doing a phase build. Speaking of armor, I think it's about time we go on a little side quest to get some fancy new drip for Beeg Bunga here, because he's tired of wearing his old starting gear. So we are off to Volcano and killing everything on the way. This guy's weapon's meant for smithing. Extra Life Wiki says this guy's a boss. Torrent actually murdered this guy. This Wormface lost his cloak. Ulcerated Tree Spirits were designed for a different game and were just jammed into this one. They should double the number of Tibia Mariners in the game. How the fuck is this dude a boss? Lava only hurts you if you allow it to hurt you. She is queen of the wizard goblins. Now that we killed all those Control-C, Control-V bosses, we talked to everyone's favorite Letterkenny character, Tanith, and she tasked us with murdering a handful of dirty boys that have been selling cigarettes to kids. And in exchange, she'll knit us a new outfit for us to wear. Alright, next boss. Let me give you some lore. So, snakes are elongated, limbless carnivores, reptiles of the suborder Serpentis. Like all other squamates, snakes are ectothermic, amniote vertebrates covered in overlapping scales. Many species of snakes have skulls with several more joints. Their lizard ancestors enabling them to swallow prey much larger than their heads. To accommodate their narrow bodies, snakes' paired organs, such as kidneys, appear one in front of the other instead side by side, and most only have one functional lung. Some species retain a pelvic girdle with a pair of vestigial claws at either side of the cloaca. Lizards have independently evolved elongated bodies without limbs or with greatly reduced limbs at least 25 times via convergent evolution, leading to many lineages of legless lizards. These resemble snakes, but several common groups of legless lizards have eyelids and external ears which snakes lack. Although the rules is not universal, living snakes are found on every continent except Antarctica and on most smaller landmasses. Exceptions include some large islands such as Ireland, Iceland, Greenland, the Hawaiian archipelago, and the islands of New Zealand, as well as many small islands of the Atlantic and Central Pacific Oceans. Additionally, sea snakes are widespread throughout the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Around 30 families are currently recognized, comprising about 520 genera and about 3,900 species. They range in size from tiny, 10.4 centimeters long, such as the Barbados thread snake, to a reticulated python of 6.95 meters in length, which is 22.8 feet. The fossil species Titanoboa ceratogenesis was 12.8 meters, or 42 feet long. Snakes are thought to have evolved from either burrowing or aquatic lizards, or perhaps during the Jurassic period, with the earliest known fossils dating between 143 and 167 million years ago. Really interesting stuff that Michael Zaki came up with. Here we just sweep away a few bosses while on the way to an elevator, and on top of the elevator we have even more slew lads to take down. Every ulcerated tree spirit you kill is another ulcer prevented. Each Tibia Mariner can perform through fire and flames on expert difficulty. The Deathrite bird is actually the most advanced form of marsupial. Commander O'Neill traded his right leg to Godrick the Grafted in exchange for mercy to his troops. Fuck Godskin, apostles and nobles. The Snail is a character hidden in each Adventure Time episode excluding the pilot. Boop the dragon on the nose to find out what he's dragging. Vike almost became the next Elden Lord before absolutely fucking it up. Who the fuck is this guy? How is he getting in these bits? Once again here at ringside, alright folks, we have a new contender for you here tonight, hailing from Mount Gelmir, and when we say this is the last giant, we aren't lying to your face like in Dark Souls 2, measuring up at 52 feet 11 inches and weighing as much as Vatican City. We have the one and only Fire Giant. In all honesty, I'm not liking the odds of the newcomer. Beeg Bunga has a bit of a mean streak when it comes to big dudes. I wouldn't be surprised if Beeg Bunga forces Fire Giant to rip off his own leg and then break his other ankle. He'll never recover from that injury. What's this? What's this? Jumping attack into the ankle? That's an illegal move, and the newcomer is down and out. A career-ending loss. Now, Beeg Bunga's road takes him to Ashen Lake. Wait, no. Archdragon Peak. But no. The Ring City. No. Crumbling Faramazula. No, that doesn't sound right either. Anyway, let's see what these guys are dragging. The best golf swing tips to improve your game. Improve your golf grip for straighter shots. Use your left hand to control the direction. Refine your golf stance for a better strike. Hit down on your iron shots to get the ball up. Master your golf swing. The ball only cares about impact. Count to improve your tempo. Take an extra club and swing smooth. Allow for your miss. Pick a clear target, and if you do all these things, then you too will be able to kill the ancient dragon Placidusiax. Now, all that's left is to kill a cat, kill a man on a horse, and bonk Goreg on the head.
Oh, death. become my blade once more.
The tale of Maliketh is a very sad one indeed. Geraint, after visiting his local Hot Topic in Caelid, the big titty goth cashier offered him a single weed, and he injected it immediately, turning himself into the scruffy goth you see before you, showing that even a single weed syringe can ruin even the most vibrant of youths, such as Geraint. He quickly gateway drugged himself into taking Deathroot and insisted that everyone call him Maliketh's Demon Angel 42069XX the Black Blade, even though not a single person wanted to, in the slightest. Despite the fact that every other person hated what Geraint had become, there was still one person that would not abandon him, despite everyone else repeatedly telling her that he was lost cause. Queen Marika herself wanted to still hope there was something based left in Maliketh, and that he wasn't just a being of pure cringe. So she gifted him the rune of Death-Stinned Death, which in retrospect is quite edgy, and made Geraint's descent even worse. And so concludes the tale of Maliketh, Demon Angel 42069XX, the Black Blade. Now he spends his days smoking cigarettes in front of the Waffle House and cosplaying his favorite My Immortal character. After hearing all this, I'm sure you can agree that the right thing to do is ATF this stuff. Fuck, what a depressing story. Let's go burn down a tree now. Alright, next is the all-knowing himself. Wait, who the fuck is this dude? Either way, it looks like this guy is here to do some wrestling. Checking the stats now, this guy's Scarred Crucible Betrayer. He's coming in at a very reasonable 8 foot 9 inches, weighing only a measly 500 pounds. This small fry is, wow, listen to this, hails from parts unknown. You think maybe him and Beeg Bunga go way back. Well, there certainly seems like a lot of bad blood between them. So what's this guy's story? What info do we have on him? Scarred, Crucible Betrayer. Well, it seems, right here, it says he was a Crucible Knight, and he was the goodest one around, until he wasn't. He threw away his armor and shield to show he was breaking his oaths. Wait, but then why does he still have his sword? It says here that the sword was already a +5 Twinkling Titanite weapon and would have been really expensive and hard to replace. I guess that's fair. So what can old Scarred Crucible Betrayer do exactly? Well, if you've been paying attention, he just has all the moves that every other Crucible Knight has, but he has all of them together, along with some fancy sword spin moves. So what made Scarred Crucible Betrayer betray said Crucible? Well, believe it or not, it was Gideon Ofnir's fault, actually. No, Gideon the All-Knowing has never done anything untoward in his entire life. No. I'm afraid it's true. You see, the tale goes that once upon an afternoon, much like the one we had today, Scarde, or Scarde, super loyal dude to the Crucible as he was known at the time, got some shrimp fried rice for his lunch, and left it with the other lunches while he did his Crucible duties, or crudies as the Crucible Knights liked to call them. When he returned to retrieve his shrimp fried rice, it had been emptied deep into the nearby garbage can. Scarde was furious. He enlisted the help of a Liurnia Academy wizard to scry for the culprit. After the spell was cast, it was revealed that it was Ofnir that destroyed the shrimp fried rice. Scarde was furious and immediately threw down his shield, stripped off his armor, and vowed he would seek vengeance against Gideon Ofnir if it was the last thing he did.
It's been a long while, Morgott. Long and hard didst thou fight, tarnished warrior. spurned by the grace of gold. Be assured, the Elden Ring resteth close at hand. Alas, I am returned. To be granted audience once more. Upon my name as Godfrey, the first Elden Lord.
Okay, but if I hit your knee, don't do anything weird to your cat, okay?
That will be all. Thou didst me good service, Sirach. I've given thee courtesy enough. Now I fight with horror. Warrior!
Oh, ouchie, my bones. That hurt a lot, but what if I hit you back as well, just as hard? And now, we have the final boss. Every attack that hits an enemy deals a certain amount of stance damage. How much stance damage is dealt per hit is hidden from players, and isn't always closely related to the amount of HP the attack removes from the enemy. Once an enemy's total stance damage is higher than their stance stat, they become stance broken. This usually renders the enemy vulnerable to a critical hit, making a golden glow appear at a spot on their bodies where you should stand to deliver the critical hit. Other enemies don't provide critical hit opportunity and instead have a stance break animation that will interrupt any attack they're doing and provide you a chance to get in some free attacks. After some time, taking no damage, an enemy's stance will begin to recover. Different enemies taking varying amounts of time to start recovering, but once they do, they all recover their stance damage very quickly. If you're trying to break an enemy's stance, be sure to keep the pressure on. Projectiles like throwing daggers can help preserve your damage if the enemy retreats. Although parries generally have the same effect as breaking an enemy's stance, they have a separate counter and don't actually do any stance damage. Parrying an enemy won't reset its stance damage meter, and stance breaking an enemy won't reset its parry counter. A dolphin is an aquatic mammal with the infraorder Cetacea. Dolphin species belong to the families Delphinidae, Platinistanidae, Inidae, Pontoporidae, and possibly extinct Lipopidae. There are 40 extant species named as dolphins. Dolphins range in size from the 1.7 meter long, or 5 foot 7 inches, and 50 kilogram, or 110 pound, Maui's dolphin, to the 9.5 meter, 31 feet, and 10 ton orca. Various species of dolphins exhibit sexual dimorphism, where the males are larger than females. They have streamlined bodies and 2 limbs that are modified into flippers. Though not quite as flexible as seals, some dolphins can briefly travel at speeds of 29 kilometers or 18 miles per hour, or leap about 9 meters or 30 feet. Dolphins use their conical teeth to capture fast-moving prey. They have well-developed hearing, which is adapted for both air and water. It is so well-developed that some can survive even if they are blind. Some species are well adapted for diving to great depths. They have a layer of fat or blubber under the skin to keep warm in the cold water. Dolphins are widespread. Most species prefer the warm waters of the tropic zones, but some, such as the right whale dolphin, prefer colder climates. Dolphins feed largely on fish and squid, but a few, such as the orca, feed on large mammals such as seals. Male dolphins typically mate with multiple females every year, but females only mate every 2 or 3 years. Calves are typically born in the spring and summer months, and females bear all the responsibility for raising them. Mothers of some of the species fast and nurse their young for a relatively long period of time. Dolphins produce a variety of vocalizations, usually in the forms of clicks and whistles. Dolphins are sometimes hunted in places such as Japan, in an activity known as dolphin drive hunting. Besides drive hunting, they also face threats from bycatch, habitat loss, and marine pollution. Dolphins have been depicted in various cultures worldwide. Dolphins are sometimes kept in captivity and trained to perform tricks. The most common dolphin species in captivity is the bottlenose dolphin.
Wait, we can't end on a bit about dolphins. Just because you think that the last boss looks like a dolphin. Why not? Well, you forgot a boss. Yeah, no worries, I'll go do it right now then.
I jumped for so long. My flesh was dull gold, and my blood rotted. Corpse after corpse left in my wake, as I awaited his return. Heed my words. I am Malenia, Blade of Nicola. And I have never known defeat.
This guy thought he was gonna do it first try. This dude tried to roll backwards in a waterfowl dance. He had all his Estus left. Man tried to sip mid-attack. Ooh, phase 2, haven't seen that in a while. Back to phase 1, I see. Why are you trying to attack when she's in mid-air? Are you watching the Zero Lenny stream in the background? I'm pretty sure you have to roll forward and to the left on those. The problem there is she hit you with the sword. Should have gone left. Did you know she's Malenia? Big close that time. Didn't know you couldn't go under her when she flew up like that. Hate it when women project themselves astrally and stab you. So when are you gonna do it right? Oh, that's right now actually. Okay, here we go. Malenia, Blade of Nicola. Big heavy attack. Stagger, twice even there. Did you see that? Oh, he just gets a little health back. The name of the game here, using the big hammer to deal more health damage than she recovers through my many trades with her. Which is probably not the most efficient strategy, but it's the strategy that I ended up going with because the hammer is silly and slow, and I am not very good at this video game. So avoid where you can, take the good trades where I could find them, but ideally, you know, just hit her without getting hit. That'd be fantastic. That was just shit. Should have rolled left there, but here, that fair trade. She barely got any health back, and I dealt like nearly a K worth of damage, over a K worth of damage there. For what? That's the riposte. Oh, stance broken, critically hit. Fantastic work right there. Here comes another boom, big one, and I've learned that after the riposte, you can go right up to her. If you stand right on her toe, on her front right toe, then you'll be able to get a fully charged heavy attack, and then even a follow-up second fully charged heavy attack after she dodges. And here, you know, I didn't expect the grab after the heavy didn't have the ability to roll. Here I see that I have low health and I'm not confident enough to dodge the whole thing perfectly, so I take a little sippy and do a bit of a trade here. I trade and a little Estus for that. It feels okay because they're plus 10, they heal back alright. This is not the end of the world, you know? Get the big jumping attacks. The jumping attacks is the second most stance build-up attack I have behind the heavy charged ones. So, get as many of those as I can. And you want to keep the attacks up or else you'll, you know, recover her stance gauge, as you will. Here, it's looking pretty okay. It looks like we're going to make a nice easy phase 2 with 9 whole Estus left, which isn't the best, but isn't the worst. Here I'm kind of trapped in the corner, but somehow just barely get tickled by the entire waterfall dance and punish into phase 2. Alright, now here. If we can get the dodge here, which we do, and then charge back in, tank the damage, we can get 2 huge heavy attacks in right now, and that'll leave her hugely close to a stance break just like that. We get 1 more in there, get the Estus right while she's down, and then have just enough time to maybe charge 1 last big heavy attack, and we get it off. But we miss the follow-up, which is pretty bad, because she recovers a bit of health from that. Doesn't get us with the stab, that's okay. We're looking for an opening here to heal, essentially. This is what I would say if we weren't just gonna do a jump attack in there. Now we're probably gonna look for an opening to heal, because we're getting beat pretty bad here. A little spooky. Here she's gonna astrally project. Go left, right, left. Get hit. Dodge most of them. Get hit once. That's okay. We take those trades. She's coming in fierce. We're going in with a little hop, skip, and a jump in there with the jumping attack, dealing some more stance damage. She probably recovered from the stance build-up that we've done so far, but hopefully we can get a stance break soon enough. If she just sits still, you know? That is some big damage. I hate getting hit by the sword and the explosion. Yeah, pretty devastating stuff, but not too bad. We dodged, like, 60% of it, which isn't the best, I'll be honest, but, you know, it's better than not dodging any of it. Do a little hop right there in the middle of that attack sequence as a joke. Jump over the swing. Here she comes again with the rotting explosion move. We don't dodge it this time. Oh, but we don't have enough health to tank through. We go in, hopefully get 1 heavy charge attack, and can we get the second one in? Yes, and it causes the poise. The stance break to happen, we critically hit. Boom, huge amounts of damage, charged full heavy, second follow-up, she decides to stay in, we trade, put her into another stance break somehow, and just absolutely ruin her with the critical hit. And that's it. That's the entire thing.
Holy shit, lads. It's been a long one this time. This is the first video I spent a big amount of time editing and recording and scripting. The whole process was a lot of fun, and I'd love to do it more. Maybe for different Souls games, maybe for my favorite game, Dark Souls 2, who knows? Well, I hope you lads had as much fun as I did. I'd appreciate a little subscribe if you feel like feel like you're keeping your ear open for the next one. Maybe smash in that like button, you know? Maybe put a comment. What you thought about it? Do you think there were maybe too many dragon jokes or something? And I'm make a little promise, a little secret promise to you guys that made it to the end of the video. Don't tell anyone else, man. They gotta make it here themselves. Right now, don't tell anyone. All right? I'm gonna respond to every single comment on this video. All right, no matter how absurd or silly or ridiculous. All right. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Why don't you go outside now and ask a friend what are they dragging?
And Beeg of Fracture.